Here comes a new challenger!
Hello there everyone, and welcome to Not Everyone Is Here, featuring Mortal Kombat. After all, we are going to be talking about third parties, and well, this is one of the bigger third parties out there. Though, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this video is going to have some bias in it, and negative bias at that. I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat, specifically Mortal Kombat 11. X was great. If I made this video during the time X was around, I probably would have had a lot of good things to say, but in my personal opinion with how NetherRealm is, I just don't think they should get a character. But this series is not just about my personal opinion, it's about objective facts. And what are the objective facts here? Well, the reality is that while I do agree, and I say this multiple times so no one can, try to misquote me or anything, that I do think every character just has as much of a chance as any other fighter in Smash. With Mortal Kombat, it's much more a slippery slope than other fighters. Not just because of the M rating, but because of its violence, and its unapologetic violence, in which Japan has issued bans for the Mortal Kombat series. So, when you have a series that really doesn't have much representation outside of Japan, right? When it comes, inside Japan rather, you have to really consider, would they want a character like that? Like any character from that franchise in Smash? But in my opinion, and I said this also before, I think that if Sakurai really wants to claim that this, Smash as a series is to celebrate gaming as a whole, then you can't just exclude non-Japanese developer games, right? Like Mortal Kombat has been American through and through, and it has, and back then compared itself to Street Fighter, to SNK. It was a competitor. To not have that represented in Smash in any way is kind of hypocritical in my opinion, because you're saying, oh well, all these Japanese developed games can get in, all these American developed games, nope. Even though we do have characters that originate from other places of the world, let's put it this way, the only characters that were really from America that's in Smash is Dark Samus. Think about that. Only Dark Samus. K. Rool, Banjo, and Diddy Kong, along with the version of DK, all come from England. So when you take that into account, that kind of seems, in my opinion, a bit of Sakurai showing bias. I've discussed other first-party IPs by Nintendo, Nestor, and Star Tropics with Mike Jones, and those guys don't have any representation in Smash. And they were primarily American-only stuff, right? So, again, in my opinion, it kind of feels like Sakurai has this sort of bias towards American-made games, in my opinion. Now, we've all talked about Chief, but I feel Chief isn't getting in because Sakurai wants to, but because, let's face it, Nintendo and Microsoft have a good relationship at this point. You know what I mean? So, if Chief gets in, it's purely for that reason and that reason alone, and to me that bothers me. I feel that regardless of where a gaming character comes from, there's still a gaming character. Kratos is an icon, alright. So is Crash, for instance. I feel like, but if a franchise doesn't really have that much of a presence in Japan, should they really get representation? Yes! Because if a franchise has made an impact on gaming, like Mortal Kombat has, then regardless of my personal opinion on Mortal Kombat, it should still get representation. I just don't understand why Sakurai refuses to represent American-made franchises, in my opinion, right? And I'm just talking about ones like I mentioned earlier, Star Tropics, right? And Nestor, well, he isn't a franchise, he's a character that has essentially been a mascot for Nintendo Power, has appeared in Pilot Wing 64. So again, it's just weird to me. I feel like it's kind of just Sakurai showing his bias towards what isn't made by Japan, or what has and hasn't appeared in Japan, right? That's my personal opinion, and I feel that Mortal Kombat is a series deserves representation. Now, whether or not you believe it deserves a fighter, or spirits, or whatever the case may be, we can all agree that Mortal Kombat should be in this game in some way, shape, or form. I mean, we wouldn't really have a rating system over here if not for Mortal Kombat. Oh, but it's only the American side. I don't care. Alright? It's made an impact. Mortal Kombat has a legacy. It has history. I don't care if the current game sucks. You know what? Sonic sucked by the time he was in Brawl, right? Did that mean that Sonic couldn't be in Brawl? No. Okay? So in my personal opinion, I think that Mortal Kombat, regardless of my own personal opinions, should get representation, and it bothers me to no end. Alright? Oh, but Sab, it's not the same without the violence and gore and stuff. Look, alright? Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden all have appeared in Injustice, and Injustice is they're teen-rated games, and yet they still manage to find a way to perfectly represent those characters without the need of excessive blood and gore. I think, in my personal opinion, that if they can do that, then Smash should have no problem including these characters, okay? Oh, but the gore, Sab, the gore! Look, if Mortal Kombat had gore, and it was great for that, alright? But it was also really good and fun fighting games, okay? So, to me, anyways, I feel, personally, that Mortal Kombat should get representation. In some way, shape, or form. Like, come on, it deserves it, okay? And with that, those are my opinions on Mortal Kombat. I think that if it was a fighter between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, because those are the main two, I think it should be Sub-Zero. And not because he would be the more censored one or anything like that. No, it's because Sub-Zero has appeared in more games. Alright, there are more lore-related things to Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero tends to be the main character of a lot of things. Okay, there are a bunch of Sub-Zeros in various games. Literally, Mortal Kombat 9, you had Sub-Zero, Cyber Sub-Zero, and Noob Saibot, who was basically the first Sub-Zero. Alright, there's a game literally about Sub-Zero, alright, called Sub-Zero Mythologies, okay? So I'm just saying, if you want to get more deep into it, there was an amazing video by Roofamonger who talks about his 4 fighting game, you know, the Rushmores of fighting games, is the way he put it. And he said Sub-Zero, and I agree 100% Sub-Zero easily. I don't care if, oh, but Scorpion's a mascot. Yeah, but you know what? Sub-Zero has been in more games, so shut up, okay? That's how I see it. That's me personally, though. You are allowed to disagree. Let me know your opinions down below. What do you think? Do you think that Mortal Kombat should get representation? I do think it does. Will it? Maybe not. But we'll see. With all that being said, please take care of yourselves, and as always, have an amazing rest of your day. Subscribe. Hey, come on. Don't leave without pressing the red button. And with that, please also tell me what other characters you'd like me to cover in this series of videos. Like I said, when it comes to Mortal Kombat, even though I may not like the series as much as I used to, it definitely deserves it. It definitely does. Alright, well, I'll see you guys next time. Peace!